Hello indie game fans, spooky month comes to a close with Halloween coming up this week, so scary games get a little bit more weight in this chilling edition of indie gaming this week. Very fit for the season, Savage Halloween is a retro action platformer where monsters from the afterlife are partying on Halloween night but got stuck on Earth and decided to stay around. There are 3 playable characters, all with their own reasons for wanting the party to end, and it's good old run and gun action platforming to the rescue. This nails that 8-bit look, which is wonderful, with its share of modern tweaks as well. A digital board game for 1 to 6 players that looks suitably creepy is October Night Games, where every player is a cultist working for one of 2 sides, with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. One side is attempting to summon the Great Old Ones, while the other is trying to stop them, so conduct rituals, brew potions, and survive against both villagers and monsters with its share of deception and random events. Very impressed with the overall packaging of this, from the art, music and gameplay, and is perfect for the season. And for something that's not exactly a new release but totally worth going back to, Yuppie Psycho Executive Edition is the enhanced version of the Office horror game from 2019, releasing on Switch, while all owners of the game on Steam get automatically upgraded for free. There are 3 new hours of content, new areas, new bosses, and even new endings, so a great time to jump back in or to check it out for the first time if you have not.
You know not what awaits you.
For bigger games this week, the Eldritch Horror roguelike tactics title Nautical launches on Steam after being an Epic exclusive for 6 months, and is an interesting entry in the genre.
Welcome to my realm. A realm of dread. Together we shall write the end to this wretched fairy tale. In ink, black as despair. Now, Reed, let us begin.
The not-so-indie The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4 is the final entry in the quadrilogy of The Trails of Cold Steel, releasing in 2018 in Japan, but with the English translation launching on PS4 this week. The Trails franchise sure has exploded in the number of entries and popularity, and is one for JRPG fans.
In a world ablaze with war, heroes must unite.
除掉你们以平定乱世，是小害，更是大利。香儿，
这些死士兵不是自然形成的，而是受一个大妖控制。
前头或许还有妖魔，香儿也要小心了。
阿兄，
天下地利。
Finally, Xuan-Yuan Sword VII is a Souls-like RPG which I last mentioned when covering the Steam Game Festival, and found it to be especially of interest since it looks gorgeous, uses Chinese mythology and history as a backdrop which is atypical, and has action which looks fantastic as well.
白皑皑的一片，真漂亮。
老一辈传下来的，听说里头别有洞天。
哦，这机关有意思。
这机关似乎比刚才的都还复杂啊！
这儿便是鲁班遗迹了吧？
先找找有没有什么线索吧。
In doing more research, I realized that this is actually quite a large company behind this game, which is a listed company on the Taipei Stock Exchange, so really not that indie at all, but a game that is of interest for sure.
是李军，他们想修复这尊机关人。
目标就在眼前，必须拼搏一把。你这么做，值得。
你眼里的大人，与我们又有何异？
行不义，杀不孤而得天下，君子所不为也。
Back to indies with the ghostly 3D platformer Fifo's Night. Basically Luigi's Mansion, but you play as the ghost. It's less of a horror game and more of a spoopy take on the theme, and simply looks pleasant, which I hope will live up to the look. It is strange that as a ghost, you have to jump and platform around instead of flying or floating everywhere, but I guess that's part of the design. A Metroidvania title which has been a long time coming is Depths of Sanity, an underwater entry which will already be terrifying to some, where you're delving into the depths of the ocean while searching for another submarine that went dark. Not only are there underwater creatures and natural hazards like volcanic vents, there appears to be something that will test your sanity as well, so perhaps some cosmic horror elements. As with all underwater games, I hope that it controls well, and if it does, it could be an interesting entry in the space. The wonderful map-focused puzzle game Carto makes it to launch and looks wonderful where you're trying to get back home to your family but can help others along the way through the use of the map and realigning the pieces. It always feels great to help people, even in games, so I'm looking forward to this. Smaller games this week begins with the Angry Video Game Nerd 1 and 2 Deluxe Edition, the remaster of two games from 2013 and 2016. AVGN still remains one of the most popular YouTubers even in 2020, and if the non-remastered versions were anything to go by, this would be excellent in that retro kind of way. The phenomenon that took over the world, Auto Chess, launches on PS4, so experience the magic from the original creators that spawned a genre. Barbearian is a fun little action title that gets ported to Switch this week.
The day you are turning into a monster has been set. Your lair is being invaded by humans. Protect the chest containing your heart.
If you love retro shooters, Cathedral 3D will be of interest, where you play as a fireball-slinging monster who has to defeat endless waves of humans, giving me some serious Devil Daggers vibes.
Compete against the world in the leaderboard. Unlock multiple achievements. Survive, die, survive again.
We are witnessing an evolutionary event unlike anything in human history. The myth of materialism dissolves. The age of reason collapses. A new reality reveals itself.
I don't normally touch on visual novels, but the vampire-focused Crimzon Spires does have good art and that sexy tension that comes with vampire fiction.
We think of this as a fairy tale, but it is very much real.
We're trapped in this town forever. Or maybe we're stuck in a nightmare. But if so, we don't get to wake up. All we can do is learn to fight back.
Power is real. You can feel it, you can taste it. Some people possess it and others do not, but only the weak despise it. With power comes order.
I never asked for this power, but I have it, and I can help you. I'll protect you from the monsters. You help me get inside those towers.
I know this town, and you know investigation. Let's work together. You and me against the world. I've got your back, Erica.
Your head is filled with lies. Clean out your ears and listen to the music. There's beauty in the cacophony. Now take my hand and dance.
The people of Bataille need stability. You and I can give them that. But first we must re-establish law and punish those who stray.
The Japanese bullet hell shooter Crimzon Clover has had a wild history, with World Explosion being the latest iteration on the same core game, which launched way back in 2011. Another retro action platformer of interest this week is Crypt Stalker, once again nailing the 8-bit look, with gameplay that looks promising. Apparently, the free first-person horror game Dark Deception from 2018 has been tremendously popular, with its signature monster being the Drum Monkey, where Monsters and Mortals is the asymmetric multiplayer entry in the franchise. The Yabatanien is a Japanese puzzle horror game that gets an English translation, which is launching on Switch this week. Domino House is a neat-looking point-and-click adventure game that looks just spoopy enough for the season.
Kill the intruder.
Not too sure about this, but DUSK is supposed to get its long-awaited Switch port on Halloween, but there's still no official store page.
Do you like ghosts? Are you fond of wizards? Well, how would you feel about a ghost who learns to become a wizard? Would you fancy a game about two frogs who snog on a log? Wait, what? That wasn't mentioned anywhere in the script. What dubious scoundrel snuck that footage into the video?
I like Zelda-style action-adventure games, and a cute-looking entry is Ghosty, which could be of interest.
Now, where was I? Oh yes, it's never too late to become a wizard. And it's never too late to play Ghosty. Ghosty, available on Steam this Halloween.
It all started when I found this book.
What the
Wait, are you actually talking back to me?
Took you a while, huh?
The Necronomicon in all its glory.
It should never fall into the hands of madmen.
You really think I want to be like you for the rest of my life?
She's really unhappy with her current situation.
The excellent adventure game, Gibbous, a Cthulhu adventure, makes the launch on Switch and was a title that I enjoyed. Love the animations in this.
Notoriously unlucky. Hear that, kitty? Adventure awaits.
I can barely contain my enthusiasm.
Yeah, well, it ain't all fun and games. We're dealing with lunatics here.
This place is giving me the serious creeps.
Strange and mysterious are why I work this beat.
Wait a minute! Care to explain what's going on here?
Do you ever watch the moon buzz Koan?
Heard awful noises.
Horrible! It was horrible!
And there's a talking cat.
Again, I'm right here. Rude.
Cthulhu Fatigan! 'Cthulhu! 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 '
A neat-looking action platformer is Legends of Ethernal, a side-scrolling game where our hero is on a journey to discover the truth behind his family's disappearance. The very weird Mezmeratu comes to us from developer Salary Emblem, who made the equally strange Baobab's Mausoleum series, where this roguelike platformer simply looks insane in a good way.
Hurry to the tower in the forest. Master Mayfair has a surprise for you. I have some errands to run. I will meet you at the tower.
Of course, comparisons between Oceanhorn 2, Knights of the Lost Realm and Breath of the Wild will be made, as was the case with the original Oceanhorn being quite a great Zelda-like, with this sequel initially launching on Apple Arcade but making its way to Switch this week. Pendle Hill is a fascinating entry since it is an open world survival game, and I'm curious to see the execution. Picross makes another appearance with Pixel Puzzle Makeout League, crossing the puzzle game with a dating sim. Qbio is a cute-looking pixel art economic strategy game that has you growing plants and looks pleasant. Red Rope Don't Fall Behind Plus is the enhanced re-release of a game from 2016, which is probably best in co-op, as two characters connected with the red rope have to work together to solve puzzles and defeat enemies. The voxel multiplayer first-person shooter Sector's Edge relaunches as a free-to-play title where the environment is fully destructible. Shanghai Office Simulator is a strange cross between visual novel and Slay the Spire style deck builder, but does not appear to be a roguelike, so very curious about this. Shut In, perhaps, hits a little too close to home this year, since it is a psychological horror game about being isolated in your own house and exploring themes of mental health and depression.
The coordinates brought us to an uncharted peak. A great mountain rising from the lightless depths, shrouded in mystery. We thought we'd prepared for everything.
This is the USS Salem requesting aid. We have negative rudder control and are taking on water. Ballast tank
How little we knew. The abyss hides more than ancient ruins and lost history. And our arrival has not gone unnoticed. In deep waters, the smallest ripple can change everything.
Stirring Abyss is a turn-based tactics game which has a neat art style. Back to horror games with Strobophagia Rave Horror, which looks like a trip, and I have no idea what to expect from this. The neat arcade platformer, Sweet Witches, gets ported to Xbox and is perfect for the season. I always enjoy classic card mechanics in games but used in clever ways, and the Count of Monte Carlo uses blackjack in an RPG which could be interesting. The Mutineer is an asymmetric multiplayer title that pits the Overseer against the Mutineer, the latter of which has to blend in with NPC characters and to sabotage the ship, looking to be another standout entry in the space. Tin Can is a first-person simulator title where you just barely manage to escape an exploding spaceship in an escape pod, but that too is having problems, so scramble and figure out the life support systems to stay alive.
You have reached Tenkan Technical Support. You are number 356 on the queue. Your estimated waiting time is 3 hours, 50 minutes. Please hold the line. A technician will be with you shortly. Good luck.
There are a number of creepy horror games out this week as expected, but Today Is My Birthday looks to be quite the classic survival horror experience with a noted publisher, so it should be alright. Another creepy title is Transient, a first-person horror game self-described as a Lovecraftian cyberpunk thriller, so of course I'm intrigued.
Once more you enter this place of desolation and ruin. Long have I watched you, your every waking and every passing.
Heed my words and return to your own waking reality, Wanderer. You cannot comprehend the implications this place has for your kind.
If you're reading this message, it means that I have failed you.
Only a handful of your kind could reach this point.
Who are you people?
Listen to me. All of us are in grave danger.
That is hearsay about someone called Epitaph.
You must focus. I know you.
It can even enter your mind and your dreams without a connection.
This all happened because of that rite of transmigration of yours.
I want to prevent you and the others from sharing our fate.
What did we do? Who is hunting us down?
We'll meet very soon. Oh God!
Undungeon Arena is the free combat simulation to the upcoming action roguelite just covered, so give this a spin to get a feel for the game. Rounding off the smaller games of the week is another 8-bit action platformer, Warlock Bent Spine Toilet Edition, which seems a little cynical based on the store descriptions, but it's free, so why not? Into the homestretch with Epitaph, a gorgeous looking turn-based strategy RPG about building teams of Reapers and going to war. Interestingly, if your units are killed, they don't stay dead for too long and come back stronger than ever, so it's an interesting mechanic for such a game that could be used to swing the tide of battle. I've been looking forward to Hammer Ting for almost a year now, having covered it last when looking at upcoming base building games, with this having you building a massive underground Dwarven empire. I too was in awe when reading about and watching the Lord of the Rings movies, especially the massive Dwarven kingdoms within the mountains, and this looks to deliver on that exact concept.
Lockdown lifted.
Well done. Soon we'll climb back up to Dharma City and set humanity back on its path.
What path is that?
One free from Mara and her reign of terror.
The stylish first-person slasher Ghost Runner looks fantastic, set in a cyberpunk world where you need to ascend the tower to confront the Keymaster in order to end the threat and to save humanity.
A trespasser spotted in the area.
The cyberpunk setting is on point, with some impressive violent combat and simply oozes style, and I'm hoping that this ushers in a new era of Mirror's Edge likes in the indie space.
I am your best bet.
Here, 74 located.
A title which impressed greatly even in trailers is the voxel physics sandbox Teardown, which I'm convinced will sell absolute gangbusters. It is theoretically a heist game where you need to steal things, but you're given the freedom of a fully destructible environment to prepare and plan before starting the mission. The physics in this look on point and very fun to experiment with, so expect to see plenty more of this game everywhere online in the weeks to come, taking the #1 spot. To see more of the big picture, check out these awesome videos and I will see you after the jump.